out to LTTV. Shout out to LTTV.
And black people got to be careful about raising the importance of other people's issues to our own. Because by doing that, you reduce the quality of your own fight.
Right.
Because nobody else has been through what you've been through here. Everybody in America showed up as an immigrant. We're the only people who showed up as imports. Why would you dare make the gay struggle equal? Why would you dare make the Arab or Asian struggle equal? Ridiculous. When those Asian women were murdered in Atlanta, which was a tragedy, and I didn't have a problem with the president making a law against it. But my problem was, you had about 8 to a dozen Asian women get murdered in one night.
And
as a result of one night. One night. The president and vice president flew down to Atlanta and met with the Asian community. He passed an executive order almost overnight. A congressional bill came, anti-Asian hate, unanimously passed. Almost.
Yeah, LTTV, Blunt Talk with LT, back at it with another video. All right, let's get right into this one. Dr. Umar Johnson was on the Daily Wrap-Up Crew podcast. Now, Daily Wrap-Up Crew is probably one of the better podcasts in the manosphere. It's not one of the incel podcasts, but nonetheless, he was here for a debate. He was holding men accountable. This is a whole long video. We're going to react to the whole video. This is part 2 of their debate. Part 1, you can go check on their channel. It was a good debate on part 1, but we're focusing on part 2 because it has the important part halfway through this reaction where they speak and they get into a heated debate about men being accountable for what we do in our space instead of debating women, arguing with women back and forth, trying to hold them accountable for pretty much the lapses in black men. So we're going to get into this. He basically expounds on a lot of the topics and the talking points that I speak on my channel, so that's why I was interested in reacting to this. A lot of these niggas go out sad on their manosphere platforms arguing with women that's not their woman. It's not their wife, not their girlfriend, just some random girl. Trying to argue with her, hold her accountable for her life decisions. They go out sad, they look pathetic. They don't look like leaders in communities. I've said this many times. And now Dr. Umar Johnson does a great job in debating these points. What up, chat? What up, TG? What up, Miss Calvan?
Almost overnight. My issue with that, one Asian tragedy, they get a personal meeting with the president and vice president. They get an executive order. They get a federal law that makes it illegal to even use a racial slur. We've been here 400 years. You ain't never flew down and met with us face to face after no tragedy. When that damn devil walked into that supermarket in Buffalo, New York, and murdered those Africans, when Dylan Roof walked into that church in Charleston, South Carolina, murdered those Africans, we didn't even get a face-to-face meeting from the president of the United States, who was black at the time, Barack Obama. But this is what you do for the Asians? And then you sign an executive order? And then you sign an anti-Asian hate? Where's the anti-black hate?
I don't want to sound dumb, but, you know, they would have to deal with their people. Who do we have that would support us?
I agree with you. The reason they responded to the Asians the way that they did is
they got
because
somebody
the
to call
Asians-
home.
Absolutely. You have China, you have Japan,
Who do black
you have
Americans have to
countries
call?
who have political power
Yes,
that America has relationships with that they can't afford to lose.
exactly.
And you will have to answer. There will be political, economic consequences for letting our people get mistreated in your land. We don't have that. And the reason we don't have that is because we have not helped to build a single African state into the power base we need her to be so she can speak out for us. We have used our money to empower
Understandable.
all these nationalities and use almost none of it to empower Africa, the very continent we need to do what you just said. Be strong enough to be a diplomatic voice for American Africa.
But this is why I asked you before which one is more important to fix first. Because if we had that power behind us, wouldn't it be easier for us to make moves over here? You know what I mean?
If we had that power in Africa, absolutely. But we're not building the power, though. In other words, we should be in Africa right now. I'm sending you to Ghana. I'm sending you to Nigeria. I'm sending you to Namibia. I'm going to go to Ethiopia. We're going to sit down with the president. Listen, we are a $2 trillion people.
Yeah.
We need you to be able to speak up for us.
Would it be hard to get dual citizenship?
What are the economic slave chains that America has around your economy? What are the economic slave chains America has around your economy? And what could we do with our education and income?
Now, this is the thing. There's a lot of individuals, a lot of groups actually, that go to different African countries. Some of them are keeping it on the hush. Some of them are making YouTube videos about it, and they're building up. So it's not enough at this point, but they're doing it. They're in Uganda. They're in Nigeria. They're in Ghana. They're in Kenya. They're in Tanzania. They're everywhere building. Some of them want to keep it on the hush for various reasons. Others are speaking about it. But shout out to everybody that's building. Let's get into this, y'all.
To weaken those chains so one day they can fall. Africa would love to do business with us instead of the World Bank or the International Monetary Fund or the French government or the Belgian government or the German government. They would rather do the business with us. But the problem with black folks, we are comfortable and content being American slaves. We're not looking at the global ramifications of our irresponsible behavior. We're not looking at the global needs of our people. We are content with this America the way that it is. We are comfortable being treated like 21st century slaves. Because if we were not, with the resources we waste every day, we would be going crazy. Go down your social media feed. Does it look like black America's in a crisis? Go down your YouTube. Does it look like black America's in a crisis? Go through your Twitter.
True.
Go in. If you did not know how racist America was, and you went to black Twitter, black Instagram, black TikTok, black
Nothing
YouTube,
important there.
could you tell?
No.
Don't it look like we live in the best times of our lives? Because black people are like overgrown children. Slavery arrested our psychopolitical development. Slavery arrested our psychopolitical development. The slave system turned us into eternal children in this country.
Jesus Christ.
What do children do? They spend their money on the things that they like.
Right.
And they beg their parents for the things that they need. Is that not black America? $2 billion on Air Jordans every year.
You're right.
$4 billion on liquor. $30 billion on hair and beauty. Nearly $1 billion on chicken, turkey, beef, and pork. Multiple billion on video games. Multiple million on children's cologne. Children's cologne. Check this out. We spent
I
about
even know they had LA.
we spent about $21 million on children's cologne a year.
Children's cologne?
How did this happen? Who was the idiot that did this?
What the fuck is children's cologne?
You know, baby Polo,
Yeah.
baby Versace. They got children's cologne.
Mm.
But half the black boys in America in 4th grade can't read on their grade level.
That's a fact.
Half the black boys in America in 8th grade can't read on their grade level.
Now, see, I appreciate that he said this because I always make fun of the whole black boys are reading at the 4th grade level. I'm like, which black boys? That's just a negative stereotype that they just try to throw on black kids and say they can't read. So black men, black boys, they're all reading at the 4th grade level. It's like, which one are you talking about? Who's behind? But he said, because I did a video about that, breaking it down, and this is a much better way of putting it.
They got children's cologne. Mm. But half the black boys in America in 4th grade can't read on their grade level.
That's a fact.
Half the black boys in America in 8th grade can't read on their grade level.
Now, I did a whole video breakdown about this, and it's true. In the 4th grade, they're behind, not just in reading, in a bunch of different subjects. I have to go back to that video to see everything that I spoke about in that video, but they're behind. We need to do better with our children. Let's get into this, y'all.
But we spending
What up, chat? What up, Montreal? What up, William? What up, Win Loser Rug?
$21 million on cologne. I don't excuse nothing another race.
Now, I'm not going to say what up to everybody else. I said what up to everybody so far. That's it, y'all. Y'all got the early access. Let's get into this. Let's listen to this shit and not interrupt it too much.
Does to my people. Because as a human being, you should be able to practice decency whether you're dealing with a billionaire or somebody who's dead, broken, homeless on the street. You understand?
Hold on, y'all.
Come on, man.
Let's get these likes up, y'all. Everybody watching, let's hit that like button, y'all.
Me.
Definitely.
But we have to look in the mirror too. And look at how we make it easy for people to disrespect us. Because how does the people in your condition have the time to engage in this type of tomfoolery over here? Mm-hmm. Do you feel me?
Yeah.
If I'm Chinese looking at black America, how do I make sense out of this?
Right.
Y'all can't care about yourselves. Because as much as you talk about reparations and as much as you talk about the next presidential election, look at the money you waste. Imagine a Korean walk into a black community meeting on reparations. A Korean. And stand up and say, can I ask y'all a question? Why y'all in here arguing over reparations when y'all done turned my people into $1 trillion nation? I make $30 billion off y'all people a year. $30 billion a year. How much have we give the Koreans over the past 30 years? What's 30 billion times 30 years? And you talking about reparations? You see that? But black people are in denial about our self-hate. I tell black women all the time, if you would just stop hating the way God made you, you can take your $30 billion a year and build an independent school for every black girl out here. You could stop child sex trafficking. Black women could wipe out child sex trafficking for black girls by taking some of that $30 billion on here. But guess what? How I look is way more important than the condition of my people. Black men, same thing. We could take the $4 billion on liquor, the $2 billion on edge.
Is it really $30 billion a year on hair?
Just like a woman.
Jordans, the multiple billion we spend on vacations, all the money we spend on these damn non-black women, we could take that money and build black schools for black boys all over the country.
Clubs.
But I want to know, we can't, I don't want to say we can't change that, but that's we're surrounded by it. It's like every block has a liquor store. Every block has sneakers.
That don't mean you have to partake.
No,
Discipline.
I agree with that 100%.
Where
but
is the discipline?
it's so hard for the people that don't know no better.
Now, what Umar's talking about is accountability. No excuses. You're giving the reasoning for what happens, but who the fuck cares? Be stronger than that. The other communities are, and they're not being defeated by all this consumerism. He's making some good points here. Let's get into this, y'all.
Discipline.
But yeah,
We do know better. We do. Even the most politically uneducated black person knows there's something better I could be doing with this money. Do you feel me?
I agree.
We are comfortable in our oppression. And the reason we're comfortable in it is the white man has allowed us enough of his useless amusements to content us with our oppression. We got the cell phone, social media, NBA playoffs. We have enough. See, black poverty ain't the same as African poverty. It ain't the same as Caribbean African poverty. It ain't the same as Brazilian African poverty. Our poverty is damn near middle to upper class in most other places.
compared, yeah.
Do you understand me? And so because we don't have it as bad as other people,
Now, that's facts. And if y'all traveled, y'all will know that's facts.
we think we winning when we losing. We think we winning when we lose.
Is that why, when Africans or the Caribbeans come over here and they be like, yo, you know what? Y'all got it easy. Like, you know what I mean? Y'all just being lazy.
Compared to what they come from.
Right, yeah.
And when they come, they take advantage of whatever they can do. So they'll work at the taxi, they'll work at the airport security, right? And they'll save that money and they will send it back home.
Yeah.
Many of them come over there to hustle and to send the money back home, and I don't have no problem with them doing that. You understand? But what I do need the African immigrant brother and sister to understand, America will give you opportunity that she will never give me, because you are not a threat. You can be
100%.
deported whenever they feel like it.
True.
You can be stripped of your American citizenship or your green card whenever they feel like it. They can strip me of my citizenship, but where do they send me? Nowhere. We are the only people that cannot be deported. And that's why America can't stand us, even though she's the reason she can't get rid of us.
So I know you said earlier that you don't want to beg anybody to be a part of the movement, basically,
Yes,
right?
or the race.
Right. So, but it just seems like a lot of people are ignorant to what's going on here. So it wouldn't be begging. I just think they need to be educated. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
I think they're ignoring it.
I don't disagree totally. You have Negroes and you have coons.
Okay.
The Negro is completely ignorant. He would respond to what you just suggested. Take a Negro who think white people are everything. White women are beautiful. White people are more intelligent. Black people are lazy. He's a Negro. He's been miseducated. You educate him, you can bring him back into the revolution, right?
Right.
He was just a Negro. He didn't know.
Right.
But then you got the coon. The coon knows that the white man ain't better. The coon knows that black people are the original people. But he's paid and financed to intentionally mislead his people.
Perfect.
Now, who does that sound like? I called this person a bitch ass nigga on my platform various times because he was leading a group of black folks astray to sell out to the whites in his way. Listen, everybody can do business dealings with white folks. I'm not extremist like that. Like, we cool with white people out here. But selling out Anton Daniels, this is him. This is in a nutshell right here.
The coon knows
They know better.
that black people are the original people. But he's paid and financed to intentionally mislead his people. The Negro, I can work with because I can educate him out of his situation.
Right.
The coon is dangerous. The coon has stabbed me in my back the minute I turned my back. And
Yep, for money. Anton Daniels from AntonDaniels.com.
Get him out of here. He's got no place in here. Get rid of him. Okay.
The type of nigga that puts on a bunch of niggas, elevates them on the platform, and then sells out the whole group of motherfuckers for the bread. Never seeing the bigger picture. But let's get back into this. I'm not gonna monopolize this talking about that clown. Let's get it.
that's why many of our African leaders from around the world have been betrayed by members of their inner circle. Patrice Lumumba.
Members of your inner circle. You hear this? This is why I'm okay. Let's react to this,
Turned my
y'all.
back. And that's why many of our African leaders from around the world have been betrayed by members of their inner circle. Patrice Lumumba, murdered by a friend. Thomas Sankara, murdered by a stepbrother. Malcolm X, murdered by people he trusted. Dr. King, set up by people he trusted. When you look at the black struggle globally, because you got to look at all of our heroes and sheroes, not just the ones here. Many of them were set up and sabotaged by people they grew up with and who they trusted. Kwame Nkrumah was overthrown in Ghana with the assistance of his college roommate at Lincoln University in Pennsylvania.
It's like
The State Department found his roommate, sent him to Ghana to help overthrow his roommate, who was the first democratically elected president in Africa post-colonization.
that's like the Fred Hampton story I've seen recently.
Right. Now, that informant wasn't a friend of Fred Hampton, but to your point, he weaved his way into his trust, sold him out, gave the FBI a drawing of Fred Hampton's apartment, drugged his Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
You understand? So when you get in this movement for black liberation, You don't have no friends.
I have a quick question for you that may be personal. Do you feel like, since you're a big impact to the black community, that you're in danger?
I'd say this. I get death threats on a regular basis. I know the FBI and CIA tap my phone. They've been doing it since my first trip to Africa, 2005. There's about 6 people who come around me on a regular basis who I'm pretty certain. I know the FBI and CIA tap my phone. They've been doing it since my first trip to Africa, 2005. There's about 6 people who come around me on a regular basis who I'm pretty certain are paid agents. Some of the women who have expressed interest in me over the past 6 months, I definitely believe that they are paid agents. But I'm going to say this to you. When I look at Malcolm and Martin, and I listen to their friends who survived them, they often talk about how those 2 great black leaders, 2 of my heroes, got to a point in their life where they were so spiritually and emotionally exhausted from the threat of death that they felt they secretly wished for it to come to get it over with.
Because like always looking over your shoulder kind of situation.
They got tired of it.
Right.
Dr. King got tired of it. Malcolm got tired of it. And I think they asked the Lord, just make sure when they hit me, they don't hit my daughter and children, my wife and children. You feel me? I don't ever want to get to the point where I'm that fatigued from the threat that it takes away my commitment to the struggle. Now, they never lost their commitment to the struggle.
Yeah.
But they basically died before they died, if you understand what I'm saying. Because once you psychologically exhausted with the threat of death, there's nothing else to live for. I'm still struggling, but I'm not enjoying my life.
Gotcha.
My wife can't really enjoy me. My kids can't really enjoy me because my mind has become beaten down with the prospect of death. Remember, they bombed Dr. King house twice. They bombed Malcolm house the day before a week before he died, right? I don't ever want to get like that. So I discipline myself. I practice traditional African spirituality. I try to stay as rooted as possible. I need to do a better job, but that's my walk. The biggest thing that insulates me, though, is I believe I was born to do what I did, what I'm doing. I don't believe I was born to be nothing else but what I am right now. And because I believe that I'm on a God-given mission, and because I believe that the ancestors are helping me as much as possible to achieve the goals that I have in mind for my people, which is ultimately liberation for all Africans.
Hey, yo, Jason.
All due respect, shut the hell up. I want to hear that.
The call-in link is in the description, sir. You don't gotta ask, bro. Just hit the link. But we're gonna react to this though. Let's get it.
And folks, if I die in the work, it was my destiny. And if I don't, it wasn't. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm content with whatever happens. But my comfort and peace of mind comes from knowing that this is the destiny I negotiated with God in heaven before I incarnated. So it don't really bother me.
So let me ask you this question, right? Just to go back to the dating outside your race. You once said that dating interracially is a form of self-hatred.
Absolutely.
Why do you believe that?
Absolutely. Because why do you want to stare in the face of a member of the people who have committed the greatest human atrocities against your people? These are the people.
Is that only specifically to white people, or do you mean if they date an Asian woman or Indian woman? Is that still the same?
Well, I got 2 answers. If we dealing with white people, why would you want one of them after what they've done to us and continue to do? Because your white girlfriend's still a racist. She still doesn't value black life. You understand? That white man Serena Williams is married to, he don't value black life. You understand that?
Hold up. What is this shit?
Now, I don't agree with this shit. I do not agree with this shit. He also says that all white folks are racist. He says some extremist shit in this. I agree with his points on the gender war, but when it comes to this, I don't agree with this. I'm not a person that's campaigning for the women that are divestors and the men that are shitting on black women to date white women. But people that interracial date, do your thing. I'm not an extremist like that. Just because I ain't doing it doesn't mean that y'all can't do it. Just because I have a black girlfriend doesn't mean I have to force black girlfriends and black wives on y'all. Nonetheless, let's get into this, y'all.
White woman that took $1 billion from Tiger Woods. She don't value black life, right? I could give you countless examples of people I've met in therapy who were called the N-word by white husbands and white wives. You understand me? White people who have sex with you. Didn't the slave masters sleep with our mothers and grandmothers? So just because they land in the bed with you, what makes you think that they shed their racism? They don't.
That's true. It does not necessarily mean that they're not racist, because there's plenty of people that interracial date and that are still racist. I'm not saying, but when you say all, once you say the word all, you create a point on a fallacy. There is no all. There's always going to be the exceptions. There's always going to be a small subsect that don't rock with that narrative at all. There's always going to be the small subsect that wants to be you, so they're going to try their hardest. But let's get into this, y'all.
White people are racist. All white people are racist. There's no exceptions. They might not all be
This is what I'm talking about. There's no exceptions. Hold on. Let him finish. I'm going to let him finish his point.
masters sleep with our mothers and grandmothers. So just because they land in the bed with you, what makes you think that they shed their racism? They don't. White people are racist. All white people are racist. There's no exceptions. They might not all be bigots, but they're all racist. They all want their people to dominate unfairly the resources, the opportunities, and the privileges of this society.
So
Every white person.
What about the people that just say love is?
All right, we're going to get right back into that point. We got Jason on the line. I'm going to share the screen with Jason so he can see the reaction. Give me a second, folks. Now, let's hear this point one more time.
Love, right?
Who believes love is love?
I mean, that's most people.
The resources, the opportunity. All white people are racist. There's no exceptions. They might not all be bigots, but they're all racist. They all want their people to dominate unfairly the resources, the opportunities, and the privileges of this society.
So
Every white person.
What about the people that just say love is love, right?
Who believes love is love?
I mean, that's most people's answer.
Most
when they
who? That
talk
might
about,
be most black people. Love ain't love for most white folks. Everything white people do has a political purpose. Everything white people do has a political purpose. Ain't no love is love with white folks.
Would we be considered racist if we only date within our race?
No, that's what you call race loyalty. And racism is a group system of exploitation, discrimination, oppression, bias, where one group seeks to deny all members of another group their fair share of resources, opportunities, and privileges. You know why you can't be a racist? You don't own a damn thing white people need in order to live. True. White people need you for nothing, but you need them. Whose schools our kids go to?
Now,
Stop the cap.
that is...
It's a total fabrication.
This is where he's leading people astray. What part of the game is this? How can you boldface, knowing as how educated Dr. Umar Johnson is, the amount of resources that Europeans extract from Africa, for him to say this, they don't need niggas for anything. They just take. They don't need your permission. They don't need to ask. And then there's industries that are predominantly black ran. Like hip hop, you had Eminem crying and complaining for years that he couldn't get in. Shout out to Eminem. Eminem's talented. I fuck with Eminem, but come on, man. Like, there is certain things that we gatekeep that we have power of. Don't lead people astray and act like we ain't doing nothing out here. But let's get back into this.
Theirs.
True.
Our money in whose banks? Theirs. Who's building the houses we need to rent and buy? Them. Who's shipping our stuff around the world that we need to order to live? Them. You follow me? They don't need us for shit. We need them for everything. We are as dependent on white people today as we was when slavery ended.
Now, this is the thing. Maybe he's talking locally for, U.S. Black Americans, but globally, that's cap. Globally, most countries rely on other countries to facilitate their living, resources and goods, foreign exchange. We're not going to act like, man, but let's get into this, y'all.
157 years ago.
So,
in my opinion, if you talk to an integrationist, and say, how far have we come since slavery? Oh, we've come very far. We got a black president. Now we got a black vice president. We got a black Supreme Court justice. We got about 10 black billionaires. We got about 100 black millionaires.
Ain't shit changing.
Because their definition of progress is based exclusively on superficial assets. Are you following me? Now that's the integrationist. Now you come to me, the nationalist, the Pan-African nationalist. How much progress have we made since slavery? Zero. But Dr. Umar, how can you say that? Black people got master's degrees, doctorate degrees, houses in white neighborhoods. We own our own businesses. We got millionaires. We got tech companies. Here's my question. To what extent are we now in a better position to protect and dictate the lives of our children today than we was when slavery ended? Let me ask it another way. When slavery ended, we owned 1/2 of all the wealth in America. Guess how much we own now?
The same.
1/2
Wow.
of 1% of all the wealth in America. What the fuck has changed?
I'm gonna have to research that, but let's get into
Nothing
it.
at all but the appearance of things.
Right.
The only thing they did when they ended slavery is change the way it looked. They traded in slavery. Before the 13th Amendment, we were owned by individuals. We was the property of individual slaveholders. After the 13th Amendment, we became property of the government itself. We are slaves of the state.
So
Still not free.
let me ask you a question, because
Now that goes for any citizen of any country. Any citizen of any country is owned by that country that your birth certificate is printed out by. So let's just make sure that we're not doing the same thing by leading people astray by knowing better.
In other words, if you walk out here right now and a police officer pulls you over and takes your life, God forbid, unjustifiably, how was that any better than you being on the plantation picking cotton and the overseer just decides to get off his horse and blow your damn brains out? 157 years apart. Was there any difference in the power dynamic?
Hell no.
Nothing at all.
You're right.
We are exactly where we were.
There's no ramifications.
Power. Power. Power is the measuring stick, y'all. Not education, not income, not billionaires and millionaires. How many black people on TV, Obamas and Kamalas? That's irrelevant. How much power do we have
No.
to force white people to leave us the hell alone? And do we have any more now than we had in 1865?
I don't see it.
Moving.
wait, hold on. Let me ask a question real quick, because a lot of people say that Obama got in office and he did nothing for black people. Do you think he had the power to do anything when he was president?
I want to ask a question before that question. Do I think he had the power?
Yeah.
Yes and no. Major changes, he didn't have the power.
Right.
Minor changes, he did. For example, Barack Obama could have got us more black teachers. Barack Obama could have did something about the special education exploitation of our children. He could have done something about the suspensions and expulsions. He could have fought for better schools and more black educators, because everybody agrees that the schools are a problem. Do you understand? Everybody agreed that the schools. Obama didn't do nothing about that. You follow me? He could have done something about black homelessness. He didn't. Now, for the black middle class, he threw them a couple bones and allowed them to buy a house and that kind of shit, if you consider that progress, right?
Right.
But overall, did he systemically change anything for black people?
Wait. Hold on. He did what?
Now, for the black middle class, he threw them a couple bones and allowed them to buy a house and that kind of shit, if you consider that progress, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's something. You know how hard it is to buy a house for our generation? Especially where I'm at? Goddamn.
But overall, did he systemically change anything for black people? Not at all. But did he systemically change anything for gay people? Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But don't you think it's easier for one to do that because of the power that they possess? Because of, you know what I mean, there's white people, Asian people that's in that community.
Okay.
Stop it. Get some help.
Now, we don't care about easier. It's like, what are you doing for your actual community? But I get it. He's making that point. It is easier. This interview came out, or at least part 2 came out yesterday, I believe, or the day before.
Hey, possibly, but here's my question for you then. Let's say Obama had no power to change nothing. Let's just say that. Then why would you vote for him for your presidency?
I was ignorant
Right.
to how that whole system worked.
Gotcha.
When I first voted, I just turned 18. You know what I mean? So as I'm learning more, I realized that it goes through a vote and you need certain seats, people
Right.
in these seats
Right.
to push bills through. He didn't have that. Even Biden now, where we voted in these seats, he's still not doing nothing for black people.
But you know what the difference is? Presidents have executive privilege. Barack Obama could have signed executive orders to do things for black people that he did not do. Remember, Biden gave the Asians an executive order before Congress gave them a law. He gave the Native Americans an executive order before Congress gave them the law. You follow what I'm saying? Donald Trump gave the Hispanics, the Latinos, an executive order before. You understand? Obama could have used the power of his pen.
Now, see, this is what I don't like when people he is well informed. He knows that Trump signed an executive order when black people were going crazy in America for the injustice of the police shootings. Trump signed 2 executive orders. Not everybody's a Trump fan. I'm not out here campaigning for Trump, but I remember reporting on that, and I acknowledged that he signed executive orders. The Asian shit got done real quick because the Asian community stood up, didn't let anybody hijack their issues, didn't let anybody in, and they just voiced their concerns. But black folks were up in arms. Trump signed an executive order to hold police accountable. I remember reading that, the whole order on Blunt Talk with LT. So, well, not the whole order, but like the footnotes. We just kind of gloss over these things and act like things were not done.
And here's my one thing against Barack Obama. My one thing. You're right. I'm not going to slight.
I still believe I have the PDF on my hard drive, so I can pull that up.
For not changing anything, I'm going to slight him for not even trying. Do you see the difference?
Definitely.
You the president of student government at college. You didn't get nothing done. But guess what, brother? I salute you because I saw you fight for me. You feel me? You didn't get nothing done, but I saw you fight for me. Every time I turn on the television, Barack Obama talking about homosexuals. Like they the only people in the country. That's all he talked about. Middle-class white people, homosexuals, women, and immigrants. That's all he cared about. Black people got no attention from him, but that's why the white man put him in there.
Yeah, he's right. Black people got superficial dapping a nigga up here and there, doing something for the camera, but he didn't really do anything if we're going to keep it a stack.
When Obama was running for office, I'm one of the only scholars of public stature that said when he's done, we're going to be worse off than we was before he got in there.
Yo, at the end of this interview, he says he says that he actually has 2 now. He has 2. One of them's now like being worked on a high school or something, but he has another school. So I'm interested to see him roll out the schools. And he speaks about people not actually doing the schools the same way he did. I don't know if all of that's true. Listen, I was first a supporter of Umar. Then I became a skeptic. Then I became a hardcore critic of him because I seen so much fabrications in his fuckery. But now that I've been off air for a few days or a day or two. I've been listening a lot. I've been reading a lot. So I'm not just out here spouting fuckery. He's been moving a lot differently. He's been traveling a lot to a lot of African nations. He's been integrating himself with different circles of people that are doing some work. So I don't know. Let's see where this goes. And let's see if those schools actually open.
You go to I did a lecture at Black and Nobel bookstore in Philadelphia. It's on YouTube. Go watch it. People still watching now. They say, Dr. Umar, everything you said in the Obama, and this is why he was.
Yeah, you say somebody has, King Randall, a guy in ATL, has opened 2 schools. Everybody opens schools in different ways. There's nuance. It's a nuanced take when he speaks about schools. Like LeBron James School, Jalen Rose School, they're not ran the same way. They're not like primarily owned and man, let's get into this. I'll break that down later.
Running. Everything you said about him, it has all come to pass. Why? I'm not no genius, but what I do know is every time we get elected officials, the condition of...
Hold on, y'all. If y'all call in and you're just chilling in the back, just say something in the chat or something. Because if you're not gonna say anything and you're just chilling in the back chat, I'm not looking there all the time. So just make reference to it so you're not just collecting dust, waiting to speak but not being acknowledged. Just make reference to it, not just in the back chat but like in the chat on YouTube, or say something.
Black people gets worse. It never gets better. Rarely do we do better when somebody black gets elected.
You don't think he was personally hand selected, especially after the whole Bush situation?
Yeah. They selected Barack Obama to make make the black community in America safe for homosexuality. And they needed him internationally when back Africa support because America needs Africa's resources. So he was a stooge and a puppet. He knows it, but he did it willingly. You know, I'm sure he has trouble sleeping at night.
See, he acknowledged that America needs Africa's resources. struggling out here. But then he said what he said prior. That's why, man, let's get into it.
You know what I'm saying? But my point, again, if he has no power, and if you claim your vote, see, both things can't be true. Either your vote is important, or Obama should have never been elected because he ain't got the power to do nothing. You see that? You can't have a vote. You can't say my vote means everything to me, but I'm going to use it on a man who can't do anything for me. It can't be both ways. I'm going to be honest with you. And I don't blame Barack Obama. To his credit, he never said he would do nothing for black people. Do you understand me?
Face value.
When Jesse Jackson ran for president, 84, 88, he said he would do something for black people. When Al Sharpton ran, he said he would do something for black people. When Barack Obama ran, he made sure he didn't mention black people. Even in his presidential address, he wouldn't even mention Dr. King by name. He just said a preacher from Georgia. He wouldn't even say his name. Obama stayed as far away from black issues as possible. So to his credit, he didn't lie to us. We projected onto him this messianic complex that's failed us. Because guess what? You know what? Do you think Joe Biden would have ignored black people if we didn't let Obama do it for 8 years? Do you think Donald Trump would have ignored black people if we didn't let Obama do it for 4 years?
Just understand, y'all. We have pussy-ass Trudeau out here in Canada trying to police what they do in Ghana, fighting for the LGBT rights in Ghana, an African country. That had nothing to do with him. But they're not saying nothing to the president of Turkey who's doing the same thing. So the U.S. and Canada and Europe have smoke for these African nations when it comes to the LGBT and the way they handle their shit, but they have no smoke for dude in Turkey.
For 8 years, you will never get another president's attention anymore. Because the whole world watched Black America catch hell and give Barack Obama a pass for 8 years. The worst thing we could have ever done was publicly say it was okay.
How do we bring
for him
value
to not do nothing and just be black?
How do we bring value back into our vote?
Yeah,
You have to organize it along racial lines.
I thought it was disrespectful.
Get out the Democratic Party.
When Joe Biden, when he was asked by Charlemagne,
Yeah.
why should black people vote for you? And he's just like, well, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Like that wasn't an answer.
Saudi Arabia, the perfect example. Thank you, sir. That's been going on forever. They don't say nothing to the countries in the Middle East in the way they govern their shit. Why? Because there's big money. Big money. So they ain't gonna fuck up the money. But when it comes to the African nations, they're trying to extract the resources. They ain't trying to deal. They're trying to extract resources and justify any type of intervention where they can get involved and slap their military in there and be like, oh, we're fighting for human rights, so all Americans and all Canadians get on board for this. We're fighting for human rights, so we're just going to intervene and steal resources like we always do. And we're going to leave other nations alone because we got deals and we're shaking hands, kissing babies, and accepting money. And we're not going to talk about it in the media because...
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. With your broke ass.
He just was like, yo.
It was disrespectful, but you know why? And he didn't get no flack from it.
He didn't.
But you know why he was comfortable enough to say that? Because the Democratic Party has owned the black vote since 1933.
That's correct.
This is 2023. So in another 9 years, we would have voted Democrat for a century. What have the Democrats done so great that we owe them our vote for 100 years, brothers? 100 years. 100 years.
Great question.
You see that?
It's like in Canada, if anybody knows anything about Canadian politics, Quebec wants to do their own shit. They always stay on their own shit. So they have their own political party. Bloc de Quebec, whatever the fuck this shit's called. Bloc de Quebecois. They have their own political party. So they vote everything into the bloc, damn sure knowing that they don't win, but all their issues and all their shit will always be represented in the House because they know that they got their party representing their issues for their province specifically. That's how you get shit done. Even though you know you're not going to win, you still have your representation. We just be wasting our votes on fuckery. But let's get into this, y'all.
Get out to your question. Get out the Democratic Party. Get out the Republican Party. Black people need to become independents, and we need to run and finance our own independent candidates. So when you become mayor of New York, when you become governor of New York, when you become a city council or state rep, you're going to do whatever the black community tells you to do because you don't owe nobody nothing. You didn't take no money from the Rockefellers. You ain't take no money from Chase Manhattan. See that? You ain't take no money from Morgan Stanley. You ain't take no money from Walmart. You ain't take no money from Hyundai. You ain't take no money from McDonald's. You are a free candidate. The problem with our elected officials is 99% of them show up in office already enslaved by the dollar of another man.
So I can.
We up there celebrating, oh, he's the new mayor of New York City, like the guy y'all got now. Ain't he a former police officer?
Yeah.
What we vote for him for? He's a damn cop. No disrespect to him. He might be a nice guy. But you fraternal order of police?
His color's blue.
So, thank you. So what we vote for him for? Because black people love to be oppressed.
How can an independent party win them? Because if...
You don't need to win. In fact, you don't even need the party. You just need an independent political union. In other words, let's say we're a numerical minority, right?
Right.
We could run an independent. We never going to win because whites got more votes than us and Latinos now got more votes than us, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have to win. We're going to leverage our votes. We're going to have a political town hall meeting with all the major candidates. Republican Party, Democratic Party, Libertarian, Green Party, right?
Mm-hmm.
You say, hey, this is New York City. We got 4 million black votes. And we putting them all in one place. We are not.
Perfect.
Exactly what I'm talking about with the bloc in Quebec. They do the same shit.
Not splitting. Do not divide the black vote. Put it together.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to ask y'all some questions. After y'all leave, we're going to talk about y'all behind y'all back. We're going to have a big community town hall debate. But when we walk out of here, we agree that majority rules.
Right.
And whichever one of y'all we vote for, that's who's going to get the votes. And if you do not deliver on what you promised, very next election, you're gone. They're going to have to deliver. Can they survive without your 4 million votes? Hell no. Hell no.
That's why they said save us for the end and start.
Oh wait, he took it somewhere else. He took it into the place where they're pooling together. He's saying it like that's not really a political party. He said it in a different way. I didn't realize that. I thought he was saying the exact same thing as me, but no, he's kind of saying pool your votes into and then let me break this down. My comprehension, y'all.
Next election, we out of here. We agree that majority rules.
Right.
We're going to ask y'all some questions. New York City, we got 4 million black votes. And we putting them all in one place. We are not splitting. Do not divide the black vote. Put it together.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to ask y'all some questions. After y'all leave, we're going to talk about y'all behind y'all back. We're going to have a big community town hall debate. But when we walk out of here, we agree that majority rules.
Right.
And
He's setting up a voting block. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what he's doing. He's not. What I was talking about was an entire political party that's always there battling it out. But he's talking about actually just blocking your vote together and then voting for a candidate and having to hold them to the fire. That's also a way. That's also a way.
Get the votes. And if you do not deliver on what you promised, very next election, you're gone. They're going to have to deliver. Can they survive without your 4 million votes? Hell no. Hell no.
That's why they said save us for the end and start
absolutely
shit to make us
Listen,
happy.
Here's what y'all need to understand. Nobody wants an organized black vote. Let me say that again. No black governor candidate wants an organized black vote. No black U.S. Senate candidate. No black U.S. rep. No state rep, state senator, city council. Nobody, black or white, in politics wants an organized black vote. You want to know why?
Yeah, see, the third party thing I was talking about had nothing to do with actually winning. The third party was just to be out there in legislation, battling it out, letting your party's concerns and voice always be heard on issues because you pool all your votes together. You don't actually have to win. But the Canadian political system is a bit different than American. So let me just...
Because you now got the power to hold them accountable.
Mm-hmm.
If we was organized, your mayor would have to go to war with the police department on our behalf.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't have a choice, or he's going to be unseated.
Right.
Do you understand me?
Mm-hmm.
You think he wants y'all to be organized? These handkerchief head-ass black politicians who don't fight for us and these governmental systems, do you really think they want your vote to be organized? You will make them turn their slave master into an enemy.
Do you think that's why they give women and trans people so much leverage when it comes to like separating them from an actual like black man or the black family?
Yes. I do think they want the black female vote because she's the biggest constituency in our community, right? Brothers don't vote, brothers in jail, brothers know the vote ain't going to mean shit until we organize it. So yes, they would rather have a black female vote than a black community vote, hands down, because black women vote more than black men.
That's a fact.
And that's why we need our sisters to come back into the fold and say, you know what? We're not voting as women. We voting as black people. And we voting with our men. Do you know how powerful that would be?
Right.
If black men and black women stop the dumb shit on social media and say we're going to fight because we got a common enemy, white supremacy, and we're going to put our votes behind a candidate who offers to do the most for us, that would be revolutionary.
Definitely.
So speaking of that, you know, I've seen a video of yours where you said that feminism has conditioned black women to view black men as the enemy.
It has. Feminism was financed by the CIA.
All right, so here we go now. This is the moment y'all been waiting for. I'm going to probably chop this. I'm going to chop probably this whole thing up into different clips so y'all can see different points at different times. But this is the main event. This is what we've been waiting for. Let's get it, y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. And now, live from the sold-out arena, it's time!
Gloria, what was her name? Gloria Steinem, I think she was.
Right, yeah.
Mother of modern feminism, because traditional feminism goes back to the 1800s, right? With Susan B. Anthony and those white supremacists. But Gloria Steinem was a CIA agent. They financed her. Her first feminist magazine they paid for. The CIA brought feminism into the white household to get the woman out the house and into the black household to turn the black woman against the black man. To scapegoat us for problems caused for her by white supremacy.
So, you know, obviously, you know, a big thing, obviously, we spoke about the gender wars, you know, earlier. Obviously, there's a lot of conversation nowadays about, you know, the value of what a woman brings and the value of what a man brings in a relationship. And now there's a lot more rhetoric from our women that we hear is, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, right? So,
That's pain speaking, though.
Right.
Because most black women know they will never get a man. A black woman can have sex whenever she wants.
Right.
Because she's beautiful. She can have a bed mate, but to have a soul mate, she may never get. I have two daughters, 11 and 20, right? My oldest will be 21 this week. Statistically, right? There's a strong chance my daughter could be one of those. I hope she's not. She could be one of those who never get a husband because only 1 out of 4 gets a husband. You see that? So when a black woman says, I don't need a man, that is a reaction to the reality that I may not get a man.
So why not preach? Because I understood, you know, you're obviously against interracial relations when it comes to black men with black women. I mean, with white women.
With all women, you should only be with the black woman.
And you will say, well, if you can't find a good woman in America, there's plenty in Africa.
Absolutely.
So why not teach that same rhetoric to our women? Like, if you feel
I
like
tell sisters all the time, go to Africa. So I know sisters who marry. I just spoke with a sister. She invited me to the wedding. She just married a brother from the continent.
So, but instead of saying they will never get married,
I'll take sisters to Africa who married brothers they met in Africa.
Right.
So yeah,
I think there's plenty. I think there's obviously plenty of black men,
yes,
black women. So
and what I also tell black women, if you're going to go get you an African man from the continent,
right,
you're going to have to understand that the way in which you talk to black men in America will not be tolerated over there.
Why the fuck is it tolerated? It's not tolerated here. That's what we're trying to tell them.
Well, y'all complain over here. Like, maybe not the Daily Wrap-Up Crew, because I think they're probably one of the more authentic when it comes to conversations. They just have real conversations. They're not trying to beat you over the head with talking points all day, every day. But in the manosphere, in the red pill space, they're always complaining about what women aren't doing and what women aren't, the standards that women aren't reaching locally. The passport bros are always complaining about black American women and the standard that they're not reaching. They're not doing better. They're just complaining. The African men don't tolerate that shit. They don't deal with you at all. They're going to stick by their standards, and or else you're going to be gone. That's why you hear certain women complaining about African men. Oh, they're too strict. They're too X, Y, and Z. It's because they're asserting their masculinity, and they're not used to that because these niggas here just complain and cry all day and debate girls into trying to be what they want them to be. Let's argue this ideology into your head instead of finding better. Make it make sense, man.
Stop it. Get some help.
Now let's get into this, y'all. Here we go with the anti-black women BS. From who? What are you talking about? I don't know. I'm not paying attention to the chat so much. Let's get into this.
Over here, I want to say this to us, though. Because we try to act like the way sisters treat us doesn't have a history that we are not at least partly responsible for. Let's be honest. The black woman has had to hold down the black house by herself, although imperfectly. She's had to do it by herself since the mass incarceration of black males began in the 1970s. You understand me? Most of our children are raised by a single mother right now. And it has been that way for about 50 years. So when a sister says, I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down. Or when you meet a woman and you say, sister, I'm strong enough to be your man. You ain't got to work or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down. Or when you meet a woman and you
Wait, I'm lost on that point. I'm sorry, y'all. We're going to progress, but I'm lost on that point.
Been that way for about 50 years. So when a sister says, I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down. Or when you meet a woman and you say, sister, I'm strong enough to be your man. You ain't got to work or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. Pull back. I got you. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality. We created that, and then we want to act like we didn't play a role.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable. No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection. See, what you're saying, you're selecting a poor mate. And what I'm saying is they don't have much to select one, so of course she's going to end up with a poor mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as black men are not raising black boys to be the men that our women need. We are not. They out there killing themselves right now. What we doing about it? Unemployed black males, what we doing about it? Pants sagging, weed smoking, what we doing about it? Black men are not raising black boys to be the men our community needs. That is 100% our fault. What I'm saying is she got a right to be angry with us. She got a right to be angry with us. We have not been on our job as black men. If the men are the providers, what have we been providing for our community? I'm not speaking you individually.
Yes.
Because you may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. But guess what? What are we doing for the community? What are we doing for the children who don't have a father? You don't think the black...
I would pretty much say it's consensus to that question.
We don't care. Let me tell you something. We don't care.
The people that don't have fathers and niggas don't care. Specifically for that point, they don't care. It's like, that's not my kid. That's not my responsibility. We don't care. That's what individually we think. But we're gonna break this down. We're gonna get into this whole thing. We're gonna break this down. Let's get into the super chat. Shout out to 16 Bar King with the $10 super chat. Been here since jump. Support my support for today's live. 100. Shout out to you. Shout out to you for that super chat. We're gonna get back into this shortly, y'all. Just give me a second. Gotta organize this real quick. Yeah, shout out to you for the super chat. Let me get this off the screen.
I'm getting rich.
I'm a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father, but guess what? What are we doing for the community? What are we doing for the children who don't have a father? You don't think the black woman got a right to be angry when she's been raising 2/3 of the kids by herself for 50 years? And the minute she raised her voice, we say she's not humble enough? She had to become masculine to survive the rape, the molestation, the domestic abuse. Are you telling me you can't see how we created that?
I understand that, but she needs
if
to be
we was
more
loving
selective.
our women and taking care of our women, do you think she would be like that? That personality has a history.
If she's picking Pookie and Ray Ray instead of
you're making her a scapegoat.
No, she's picking a scapegoat.
No.
Now, see, this is the hard thing to accept. This is the hard thing to accept, and this is why I don't say this. Because when they get back into their takes and what they're doing personally, they're like, they're not responsible for X, Y, and Z. It's like, look, y'all, he is right about the bigger picture, but me as an individual who will not do that shit, I'm not going to be like, y'all need to wife these baby mothers who's already fucked up their life, because it all comes down to the bigger picture. This is why I said on my platform a while ago, I say you always have to look for the biggest picture when you're breaking down these types of discussions, because The bigger picture is black men failed with slavery, and we're constantly dealing with the repercussions and the ramifications from slavery. That was our biggest failures as leaders in the community, and we have not recovered since. So when he talks about ultimately being accountable for who these women are, their personality traits, all these things, he's right, ultimately, but you don't have to deal with these girls. And that's what they're right about. You don't have to deal with these girls, but you don't have to complain about them either. You don't have to diminish your community by constantly complaining about your women and putting them down because you're focused on the wrong things. This whole gender war is a waste of time. Everybody's just out here complaining, bitching, crying
to me, and I'm not having that.
Just do better. Leave these bums alone. Stop arguing with women. You look like a broad yourself when you do it. You look pathetic. Everybody's going out sad. And the thing is, people do it for money. That's why he talked about these coons knowingly know better. They know better. A lot of these folks know better, but they will use the crowd's emotions, ruffle up their emotions, hit home somewhere because they have personal experiences and they're dusty and they're hurt, and they sell them their trauma. Oh, stop buying these OnlyFans girls pages, or stop paying for that. Pay for this channel over here because we're going to sell you this fraudulent course on how you can be a high-value man and take out all your red pill rage on these girls. I'm not saying that's what Daily Wrap-Up Crew does. They're not one of those incel podcasts like yeah, Fresh and Fit needs to get thrown under the bus for this one. Like Fresh and Fit. So
there's good quality men that they ignore.
Why she even got
Unsolved Fuckery says, I hate all this referring to street dudes as Pookie and Ray Ray. See, I broke that down as well. Because I'm like, not all street niggas, hood dudes, anybody that came from that background, they're not all Pookies and Ray Rays, these illogical, erratic idiots. That is reserved for the few on the block, the few in the hood that you know are stupid. And you know, don't ever lend this motherfucker anything. Don't do this for this person because this person's, they're wild, they're stupid, they're a loose cannon. There's always a few of those niggas in the hood, and we all know about them. The remedial kid. The kid that's cussing out the teacher and acting a fool because he can't read what's on the board. Those are the Pookie and Ray Ray. But because the losers, the dweebs, the guys that get called dweebs and corny from black women, the guys that may be successful in their white collar job, but they get called dweebs and they get very emotional about it because they don't like girls calling them names. They made Pookie and Ray Ray common to try to shit on the niggas that actually get the girls. Because they're mad that these quote-unquote hood niggas, these bums, are fucking all these girls young and getting them pregnant. So by the time they come to you, they're in their 30s with 3-4 kids. And you don't want to deal with that, and you're complaining about it on a Red Pill show because you're losing. That's why Umar Johnson's saying, no, you guys got to be accountable for that. You got to be accountable for Pookie and Ray Ray winning. You're dusty. You're not competing. You're 35, 36, now getting on the market, trying to look for a wife, and you're entirely too late because you didn't play the game right, and now you're complaining on these Red Pill shows, campaigning for 45-year-old guys to date 20-year-old, 19-year-old girls. That's what happens.
Why is there even a Pookie in the selection?
You gotta ask her.
No. I'm gonna tell you why there's a Pookie in the selection.
Why?
Because black men.
All right, so nobody gets to do that. You don't get to do that in the chat, because if you do that, I'm just gonna hit you with one of these.
Shut your bitch ass up before I get to talking shit about you.
You can't just say no. You can't just say you're wrong. You gotta prove why the hell somebody's wrong. You gotta substantiate your point. I'm 10,000% right about everything I'm saying right now. I am 10,000% right. I will be dogmatic about these points because these guys are cowards. Everybody's losing and they're crying about the women. Oh, the women are this way. The women, you can't do better. You're looking at what you qualify for. You're looking at what you qualify for. The same way these girls are complaining, they can't get this, they can't get that, because that's what they qualify for. Chronic Introvert says, I'm playing League while listening. You're easily wrong.
Shut your bitch ass up before I get to talking shit about you.
Make it make sense, though, man.
Have abandoned black boys and have allowed social media, white media, athletes, and rappers to raise them. That's why she with Pookie. If we never allow Pookie to develop, she would not have a Pookie. If we're going to be men,
Y'all, if we're going to be men, you got to stop holding the women accountable for leading the community. That's what it comes down to. Y'all are missing it, y'all. This is why people are finessed by Fresh and Fit and all these platforms. They want the women to be accountable for all the shit in our community. What is a square dude? Jesus Christ.
men, the first thing we got to do is take responsibility for why our women feel the way they feel.
I can hear that.
I'm not.
You say who pushed that image on us? Listen, the square dudes are the same dudes that sell the fuck out. The same dudes that aren't willing to fight and die. This is why Umar talking about, oh, you're going to build this shit up. Who's going to protect this shit? That's why a class like the niggas like me. I don't like doing this much, but the niggas like me. The class that are willing to go to war. The class that are willing to fight for the people and die. But you niggas want to sell out. They call them, the reason why black women have such disdain for the nerdy black dudes, the corny dudes, the dweebs, why they call them squares, and they don't get no love, and they're like, oh, this is the responsible black men you're supposed to be with, because they don't show no goddamn strength. They're always complaining on these goddamn panels. They're not willing to fight. They're willing to sell out to white folks all the goddamn time. They're not willing to build up the infantry. The infiltrate. Nigga, what the fuck? They're not ready to pick up the heavy artillery. They're not willing to build that up so you can protect the things that you build. They're always complaining about, oh, we built up Black Wall Street and the white folks just ran us out because y'all didn't build up no damn artillery. Y'all didn't fight for nothing. It's more than just being in legislation, handling things by law, doing everything the white collar way. The world is ran by the U.S. military, y'all. Y'all don't pay attention? What the hell's been going on out here? Who am I talking to? That's why when I get on these shows, sometimes I get frustrated. I'm like, who am I talking to? Collective 3 IQ. Y'all don't pay attention to the world?
I'm saying that they're right to disrespect, because even if a woman disrespects me, right? That still don't give me a right to disrespect her, because she's still the queen of the community. Even if she's not acting like it, I'm going to give her that respect. But when I hear brothers talk like this discourse we having now, we act like we don't understand.
No,
there's reasons for that shit.
I do understand. Women are so valuable. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think women
Bro, just because you're into anime does not mean anything. It doesn't mean you're a square. It doesn't mean you're a dweeb. Doesn't mean you can't get bitches. Nigga, I watch anime. Where do you think all these drops come from? The Kaido laugh. Brooke. The Goku shirts. Like, we watch. Come on, man. Niggas in the hood watch anime too. Your interest like that doesn't make you a dweeb and a nerd and somebody that can't pull. Black Hokage X in the chat. He's a Hokage. That is Naruto. Nigga, you see this shit? This is Kakarot. This is King Kai. This is Turtle. This is what are we talking about here? It's like, what are we talking about? People want to scapegoat your interests and act like that's a reason why you can't get anything. Oh, you're an anime dweeb. You're a dweeb. Come on, man. Let's get back into this.
Men and help them, propel to the next level. I think men get further in life with a woman, right? But if I'm a hardworking man, but I'm only looked at as resources, and then she's ready to jump on Tom, Dick.
We have a harder job as black men. We are building from a deficit. The problem is we have to acknowledge it, realize it, and be all around winners. That means we got to make bread. We got to be strong men and leaders. We got to be physically strong. We got to be good looking. We have to be everything. We have to overperform. And you got to be okay with that because you're at the bottom. You ever play at the bottom? Pause. Super pause. Super pause. We had this game that we played I don't share too much about my family, but we had this game we played called Asshole. It's like President on steroids. When you are at the top, you get the 2 best cards from the person at the bottom. You are exploiting the person at the bottom. When you lose in your last place, you give your 2 best cards, and you got to win from a deficit. You're playing from the back. Once again, pause.
Stick together. Pause. Knows he can have it. Pause. You see what I do when I got the rock. Pause.
Let me just put this in real quick.
This is Daniel, by the way.
Now everybody hit the like button. Let's get these likes up. Nobody's going to keep it a stack with y'all. Nobody's going to keep it a stack with y'all. Everybody's going to try to finesse their audience in any way they can. They're going to say things that they don't believe in just for internet moments. Don't try to hold people to the standard of this channel. I've seen some of y'all doing that, trying to hold people to the standards of this channel. People ain't going to follow suit. I don't think they're capable.
And Harry, because he got flash, he's shining a little bit more. His access to money is quicker than mine. It's kind of hard to have that.
Well, no, one, I agree with you, but that's not all sisters.
No, it's not.
And if you're constantly running into that type of woman,
yeah,
then the problem is you, because you're attracting a certain low vibrational energy. Why
not have that same energy for women? You just again, you have
because
the man
we having a conversation as men.
Yeah,
I got plenty of interviews with all women where I check them too.
Right.
But as a man, you should not be concerned about what I say to them. No. As men, we should be concerned of what we're going to do to produce a better generation of black males for tomorrow. That's the only that is where we should be focusing.
Women bring the choice of life, right? We understand that, right? I can't have a child unless a woman agrees.
And she can't carry one if you didn't put it in her.
I agree with that 100% too, right? But whether or not, if you want that child or not, she can still make that decision. It's only up to her.
If you don't put a seed in her, nothing else happens. And no woman can make you put a seed in her. So the original act was the responsibility of a man.
True. I mean,
all right. So,
listen, y'all. This is what it comes down to. Folks say, and they're correct when they say this, women don't like accountability. They don't. They'll turn into Ultra Instinct Goku, and they'll dodge the shit out of that. But men in the manosphere, also in the red pill space, do not like accountability as well. They'll do anything to avoid it and put it on the women. And they've indoctrinated a bunch of dudes into thinking that this is the way, to just blame women for their terrible decisions. Jason, hold on, man. I'm still cooking.
Did black men willingly leave the household, or was it the system that was?
It was systemic.
All right. So how, if we giving them grace for them having to do it without us, but it wasn't our fault, how are we not getting that same grace and that same respect?
I'm gonna tell you why.
Why?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because black men, as the leaders of the community, now
we can't be leaders.
Here's the question we got to make.
That?
Stop it. Get some help.
Now this is dealing with matters from a weak perspective. What the fuck do you mean we can't be leaders? Women ain't it? What type of defeated inferiority mindset is that? That's what I don't like. Now shout out to these guys though. I support their show. I'm not hating on these guys, but we're dealing with the interview. We got to keep it a stack out here.
Same grace and that same respect.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Why?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because black men, as the leaders of the community, now
we can't be leaders.
Here's the question we got to make. Here's the question. Because the argument y'all make,
I think he was joking the way he said that. Now watching that again, but let's get into it.
Yeah, feeds into the feminist agenda.
Okay,
it's an argument that says I don't want the responsibility.
I'm a leader.
I don't want to fix shit. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna fall back and let her run everything. That's what the feminists tell. They say, look at them, making excuses for why they can't be better men, making excuses for why they can't make better men. You understand? Your argument feeds the feminist narrative.
That's not what we make excuses for.
I'm saying I am the better man, but I shouldn't be held responsible because you wanted to choose a Pookie and a Ray Ray. That's not me. I worked too hard in my
go
life.
Back to what I said. Pookie and Ray Ray shouldn't exist. And the only reason why Pookie and Ray Ray exist because we're not in the community making those boys the men they need to be. Do you see that? And she don't get a Pookie if you didn't allow a Pookie.
But she got an Eli. She ain't come.
Yo, did y'all see? My bad for cutting this off. I'll let this play and then I'll bring in the callers. But I needed to download that prior to this. I fucked up. Did y'all see I don't know if y'all watch Fig Community or Back on Fig. Smack from Back on Fig was crying when speaking about his negligent father. His father who lived down the fucking street from him. He's seen him various times going to the grocery store, picking up some smokes. The nigga was negligent. He was not in his life. The man was crying on air. I'm going to react to that because, yo, this is wild out here, man.
Eli, she went to Pookie, and that's what we're trying to say.
She wouldn't have had a Pookie if we didn't allow
too
one.
hard in my life.
Right.
She wouldn't have had a Pookie if we didn't allow one.
But Dr. Umar,
Men supposed to make the raise the boys.
Right. We as men is holding other men accountable for the same thing that you talking about right now.
What are we doing for the young brothers in the street? So
what you mean, mentoring them? Now I mean, he's a great father.
Mm-hmm. I ain't talking about that's individual. That's good, but that's individualism. Yeah. What are we doing collectively as men to change the trajectory for black boys in the streets right now?
I
Nothing.
We're being
but talking shit.
Yeah, I mean, you can take
it's not going to get better unless we put hands on deck. The reason the athletes and the rappers are the role models is the professional black man moved out the hood. Where the dentist at? He ain't in the black community no more. Where the lawyer at? Where the business owner at? Where your city council person at? We abandon black boys, and then we blame black men for poor choices in mates that they should not even have to make if we did a better job raising our boys the right way. At the end of the day, if I'm going to call myself a man, the ultimate responsibility for reconstruction of the black community rests with me. Yes, they have a role. Yes, they have responsibility. But as a man, as a leader, to say I can't fix this shit unless she changes, that's not the definition of a man.
I don't see. I think we're on two different accords. Like, I don't think we're saying that. What I'm saying is I'm capable of being that leader, that provider. I've worked hard in my life. You get what I'm saying? I should not have to.
You still go back to individualism.
But I only feel like we tell black men that we have to now deal with masculine women, women with children.
Why is she masculine? Because she's had to raise the kids alone. Not one woman, so brother, a whole community.
So you mean to tell me the only woman I can look forward in my life is a...
Now, this is where we 1,000% need to...
Stop the cap.
You can't... It's not the single mothers that are the masculine ones. These girls have no goddamn kids and they come up masculine. You hear these guys complaining about these type of girls all the time. So this, I don't want to hear that. That's where he went left.
She's masculine. Because she's had to raise the kids alone. Not one woman, so brother, a whole community.
So you mean to tell me?
Nah, that doesn't work. That's not a... Nope.
The only woman I can look forward in my life is a masculine woman that has kids by other men? That's what I have to look forward to?
No, that's not what you have to look forward to as well, because a lot of feminine, great women are out there. You just focused on the masculine one.
I'm telling you, mistakes made by black men systemically gave rise to the conditions that allowed her to be masculine and made her end up with a man that you consider to be less than what he should be. And I'm telling you, black men are responsible for her being masculine because we have not helped her raise them children. When I say help them raise them children, I don't mean you as the stepdad. I mean you as an active member in the community where we go to every single parent black mother and say, how many sons you got? 2? How many sons you got? 2? Well, guess what? That's your son's big brother. That's your son's big brother. He taking him to school. He doing the homework. He gonna spend a couple hours with him every Saturday. He got his own kids too, but he gonna make time for you. She got masculine because she had to become masculine in order to deal with the rape, the abuse, the domestic violence, the disappointments that men had in her life, and also raising those kids and have to take care of herself all at the same time. The black woman has been the be-all, end-all in our community for half of a century.
Now, this is where we need to,
Stop the cap.
This is where we need to stop the cap, because there's a generation of masculine women who have not undergone any of those atrocities. Maybe their ancestors, but them themselves. Are you saying it's carried over? Are you saying that the community of women who've dealt with this is ancestral trauma? If he's making the point that it's ancestral trauma, it'd be great if you articulated that. But a lot of these girls are just masculine out front, and these guys are complaining about them. I have to keep hearing niggas complain about masculine women 24/7, whether it be on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, even in some of my breakdowns when I'm breaking down some of these videos, I look at these bitches and I'm like, these bitches be masculine as shit, and they don't have none of that trauma, so you're making excuses for them. The key is to not date those masculine women and complain about them 24/7, because you are ruining the public image of your community and doing much worse to it, because people start wearing that energy. You start putting that on them, and they start having an inferiority complex where they start believing all the nasty rhetoric, and they just start assimilating that personality. So sometimes it's not good to just continuously complain about them, but it is good to point out that these may be the problematic girls that you might not want to deal with, so you don't get on these platforms and come crying to us because we don't give a damn. Let's get back into this, y'all.
And now we want to turn around and say because she didn't do it perfectly enough or remain feminine enough when she had to absorb our responsibilities plus her own, that's insensitive and disingenuous.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I can't.
I mean, I guess I do understand what you're saying.
I'm not taking
You
nothing
have
back from
yet
that.
to tell me something that we've done systemically to combat that. Because you keep saying me and her. I don't care about me and her.
But there's plenty
women and men. Mm-hmm. Women and men as a group in the community. You understand?
Right.
We gave birth to that. You see? So you say she had a couple kids already because she met men. She probably thought they was good. Some of them, they left her.
She knew they wasn't.
You don't know that, bro?
She knew they wasn't.
Yo, Chronic Introvert, can you do me a favor and call in? Because you're typing a lot and you disagreed with me earlier, so I'd really appreciate it if you called in, because I'm doing this. I can't read all those things. I know you're probably making some points, but...
You're making assumptions about her. Would you make the same assumption if she was a white woman?
Yes, I would.
Yeah. So you say.
No,
come on, man. Nah. Come on.
Listen,
woman accountable.
So you say.
Listen, like I said, I feel like as a black man...
We don't hold them all accountable because black men date outside their race more than every other man put together.
I said we.
Y'all three?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't disprove that because I don't know you personally.
Even that,
but
if we look at the numbers, black men marry black women at an 87% rate, where black women marry outside of their race, or they marry outside at a 92%.
Black women do not... No, you're wrong.
Percentage.
No, he's right. Black men marry at an 87% clip, and black women marry their own race. He fucked that part up, though. They marry their own race, so they're more race loyal. They're at 92, 93, while we're at 87. But we're still marrying our own race predominantly.
You're wrong.
That's not that much.
Black women do not marry out the race more than black men.
I'm not
wrong.
saying that. But the percentages
black
ain't that
women,
far off. That's
black
what I'm saying.
women have one of the highest, fastest growing interracial marriage rates.
Mm-hmm.
But her interracial marriage rate pales in comparison to what black men have been doing interracially for 4 or 5 decades. You understand? She don't even come close to what we're doing interracially.
Black fathers are in the home more than any other group or race.
Okay. But what
that has no value?
Now, that has zero value because that's not true.
Stop the cap.
Why do we say this? Why do we say this? Where did we get that from? Black men are in the homes more. If they were, then why is there a deficit of black fathers raising their children? Why are they all raised by single mothers? Why do we have this epidemic of single mothers? Why are 2/3 of kids raised by single mothers? Or is it 3/4 now? What are we talking about?
It does have value, but we're going to put that up against the other statistic. 2/3 of our kids are being raised by the women. 2/3 of our kids are being raised by the women. Mm-hmm. And like I said, when I say being raised, I'm not saying it needs to be a father. I would like a father in that house.
Yeah.
But I know it's not enough of us to go around.
Yeah.
We are not even being accountable to the boys in the hood. And we're complaining about the women.
I argue with women
who are making babies.
Yeah.
Jason, you actually are already on the call. All you got to do is unmute your mic. You already here, sir.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
What's going on, man? You got your mic on?
Yeah, I got my mic on. What's up? You can hear me?
That was my fault. Still, I had you on mute. I didn't realize.
But you can hear me, right? Right? Well, what's going on right now is, it's not as cut and dry as, Umar is actually worrying about, the community as a whole.
Okay, so
You know, like,
I'm gonna stop you for a second. I'm gonna stop you for a second because you want to make your whole points and everything, and I want you to get through your whole points, but I want to get through this reaction too. So I wanted to bring you on for the reaction, but I didn't know that you wanted to fully break down your part.
No, what I was trying to tell you was, if where he delivered the kill shot was when he said, these men on the internet, Dr. Umar's secretly listening to the manosphere. They saying that they're men. But then you talking about you can't even get some boys in check in your own community. You can't even check these little boys that's running rampant in America all around the community. You letting them control the community. You letting boys take over the community, and then you blaming boys for the problem. I mean, make that make sense. If y'all real men, why don't y'all get up and grab a child each instead of trying to raise grown fucking men on the internet? You know what I'm saying? So I understand what you say when he was actually saying that, damn, these men claim to be leaders. Every time you turn around in the manosphere, I'm a man, men's rights. I need to be respected as a man. I'm an alpha. Well, if you're an alpha, go out there and get at them young boys.
Yeah, that's the point that I've been trying to make for the whole time, but nobody wants to hear me. Everybody wants to make excuses and cry. But shout out to you. We're going to get back into some of your commentary, but let's get back into the reaction, and then we'll have the discussion. The video is not that much longer, so anybody that wants to call up, do so now. And you can chill in the back room, but let's get into this.
Rolling the blunt for you, LT. Rolling the blunt for you.
Are you going to mail that shit too, nigga?
With the irresponsible men that we didn't raise correctly. That's bullshit.
All right.
That's wimp-ass, weak man shit. Take responsibility for our shit. Stop scapegoating them.
Yeah, I could agree to that.
All I'm saying is look at all we can be doing better, man. Half the black boys in the 4th grade can't read. What black men doing about that systemically?
Not enough.
I know what I'm doing about it. I'm building a school for it, 2 of them. Mm-hmm. But systemically, as black men, what are we doing about that? Nothing. Black boys are the most unemployed teenager in America. What black men doing about that?
Not
the Pookie and Ray you kept talking about?
Now, this is an important thing because black men are out earning black women, but the margins are small. I covered this before, barely. I went to a family graduation the other day at McMaster University. I seen about 30% of the graduates with honors be Indian descent, about 20, 30, large chunks being Indian and Asian. The smallest demographics of graduates were white and black at the bottom. There was a good amount of white folks there. All the black graduates were women. There was one African graduate and one local Torontonian graduate as a black man. That's it in the entire school, and those niggas didn't graduate with honors the way the rest of them did. Not to blow up their spot and shit on them, but you've seen it. The black men have checked out of post-secondary completely. But let's get back into this, y'all. There's areas that we are failing and we're not being accountable for. There's areas that we're failing and we're not being accountable for. That's why I don't like this whole pointing the finger at women. It's like we kind of just need to do better.
Mm-hmm. We letting them raise right before our eyes, and then we want to criticize us for ending up with one when we should have made sure there were none.
Listen, we all got choices. Just like if I choose to live a lifestyle,
dealing with individualism. I can't
that's
deal with
part
that.
of choices.
No, it's not. Yeah. We have to deal with this systemically. He brought up a question earlier, and he said, "Did we make these problems on our own, or was there some systemics involved?" It was systemics.
Okay.
In 1970, they shut down the factories. They took out the industrial building jobs. 1980, dropped off the crack and the AIDS. 1990, the Bill Clinton crime bill. There's systemic factors at play. You totally divorce your analysis from any systemic factors at all. You ain't mentioned one. You keep talking about her and Pookie and Ray Ray with the kids. You ain't said shit about the systemics. That's exactly what white folks want you to do. That's what white folks want you to do.
I'm saying
ignore what I've done to your women and scapegoat her. Because that's what she's doing to you. She's ignoring what the system did to you. And she's going to scapegoat you. We're both scapegoating each other.
Okay, that's fair.
Your analysis is feeding the gender war. It's not solving it.
Listen,
I don't mind us holding the women accountable. I don't mind us holding the men accountable.
Right?
Yeah. But when we're going to hold the system accountable as well.
That's fair.
And if we're going to hold the system accountable, that also means we got to make our own systems too. Black men have not been manly in quite some time when it comes to raising boys.
How would you suggest that black men take on the role of leadership,
especially when there's an attack on black masculinity,
without women willing to listen to us? You get what I'm saying? How do we prove our worth or take back the leadership
care of the boys?
role?
You want the women back? Take care of these damn boys. They run in the hood, killing people at will, flunking out of school, following the lead of the gangster rappers. There's a whole bunch of stuff we can do that ain't got nothing to do with the women, boys and men. Do you understand? Deal with the boys and the men. Leave her out of it and go straight to the boys. And you'll get her respect back. Give them jobs, give them education, give them training, give them your time. They not getting none of that from black men. We don't give a shit about black boys. And then we're going to get mad at her for ending up with one later in life. It's ridiculous.
Like I said,
we product and get mad for her for ending up consuming the product.
She could consume whatever she wants. I'm just saying, as a black man,
it's not about her consuming whatever she wants, brother. Because if we're trying to fix the black community, everybody and everything matters. It's not individual. You're an individualist. You're not thinking as a community. Your whole analysis is based on me and her. Step out of that shit. This is systems at play. You understand?
Right.
Multiple black men screwed up. Multiple black women screwed up. You understand me? Look at the systemic nature and say, what system do we need to create as black men to prevent the Pookie and Ray Ray from coming into existence?
Or I, as a black man, can just look for a woman that is healed, that is leading in her femininity, that doesn't have a child by another woman.
But that doesn't solve community problems. We're talking about community solutions. That's individualism.
That's fair. Yeah. Let me get to this last topic before we get up out of here. I do want to talk about your school because this is a great transition.
Yeah, so we're about to get into the school, but I want to stay on this topic real quick. Umar's right. These are community solutions. They don't sound great for the individual. That's why I don't come up here and espouse that y'all should be fixing all these damaged women and taking care of single mothers' kids. I don't say that because that's not what I'm doing out here. I wouldn't tell y'all to do something substandard that I wouldn't do. You just have to understand that if we're going to be community building, we're going to be building from a deficit, and people are going to have to take on those responsibilities. It doesn't sound favorable. It sounds trash, but that's the actual solution. People just want to be a part of the problem. But yeah, he was personalizing it. But it goes. A lot of the time you have to protect the rhetoric on your platform. So if you're constantly saying that this is the message for men, you kind of want to stand behind it a bit when you're challenged. But he was personalizing it too much, and he wasn't grasping the fact that this was a community solution. So you don't have to stand behind your individual points because nobody's arguing you on that. Let's get into this.
How difficult was it to build your school? And obviously you had the detractors and the haters saying that the school didn't exist, or you were scamming people. So what was your biggest I would say disadvantage or hardship about going about building the school?
First of all, this water was good and it better not be FBI water. Bilal, take all these pictures. Okay. Yeah. Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. First thing I want to say to your listeners is, please donate to the academy.
Indeed.
Get on your Cash App, $FDMG School. Get on your PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. You can mail, check, or money order in to FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. You can get that information on my website, drumarjohnson.com. You can also text message me for that. And for my parents out there who are having issues with your children, learning disabilities, autisms, ADHDs, IEPs, 504s, white teacher racism, psychological evaluations, pre-referral intervention plans, behavior intervention plans, any issues you're having with your children, education and mental health, you can reach out to me. 215-989-9858. That's 215-989-9858. Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. The idea had been with me since I was a psychologist with the School District of Philadelphia. The idea began to take form in 2014 when an associate of mine gave me a phone call and told me that the historic HBCU St. Paul's College was for sale in Lawrenceville, Virginia. He said they only want $2 million. I said, a whole HBCU for $2 million? 118 acres. I went down there, told them I need this school for our boys. The white people at Motley's auction in Richmond, Virginia. And they said, if you can get us $500,000 in about a month, we might could work with you. So we started a fundraiser. As soon as we started the fundraiser, my detractors attacked it. They called Motley, tried to disrupt the sale. In 2015, a year later, we started a GoFundMe. They sabotaged the GoFundMe, said I was spending the money on my own. So they stopped the GoFundMe, even though I supplied GoFundMe with all the account statements and gave them permission to speak to the branch manager to verify the information. GoFundMe didn't even check it out because they wanted to shut me down.
Yeah, he had a lot of terrible press, a lot of terrible media. I remember I came across a lot of stories that I covered in relation to Dr. Umar Johnson. There was the whole spending the money at the casino. I seen O'Shea running that. Then I seen it on, the Daily Loud. I seen it on multiple platforms on Twitter. I reported about that. They were saying that he was spending the donation money at the casino, but we couldn't confirm that. But that was the report. Yep.
But LT.
Yep. You can't hear me?
The thing that I have a problem with, yeah, I can hear you. He's just as materialistic as the people he talk about. He be on when he get these gifts from the audience or support. You know what he does? He gets on. He goes in and make a little video talking about I got my Gucci this, I got a Louis Vuitton this. And I mean, if you really about what you talk about, you would not be materialistic at all. He's materialistic. And then he talk about black people being arrogant. He's the most arrogant son of a bitch that we have. You know, my thing with him is, you know, I enjoy the lectures. I advise black people, listen to the lectures. It's good information. But don't give your fucking money. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to give people money. If he's giving you information, research the information, use it to your best ability, but don't give him your money. Because any school that he purchased is still under the system of white supremacy. So why would you sit up here and talk about they own everything, but you trying to get a school?
Wait, I don't get that take. I don't get that take. So you can't own anything because it's still under the wing of white supremacy. So you can't have a crowd fund your stuff that's going to be.
No, listen. Let me tell you. This is the point I'm making. All right, China, right? Let's use China for example. They make everything that they put out. You heard me? They have their own currency. They have their own military. Black people don't have that nowhere across the world. Y'all may have buy into the illusion because they put their troops in your country or your islands or your continent.
Bro, China
is not yours.
Hold on. There's no self.
We're not talking about China. No, I just admitted.
But you said, but it's like, yeah, they make their own things. China. But yo, you can't be.
No, you can't.
I know, but you can't be so flagrantly wrong when you say certain things because everybody does trade. There's import, export. There's global relations and trade. Everybody does trade. Nobody's self-sufficient like that.
Let me tell you. No, listen. You can find this on YouTube. This is African people. African, what you call them, activists out there in Africa talking about how the white man's behind the scenes calling the shots and the president is sucking up to him. In Africa. This is on YouTube. This is on their news.
All right.
I'm only reporting what I see.
Let's get into that.
I know black people, biggest problem is they don't want to admit that white supremacy runs everything that they have. That's the biggest problem. The best thing is getting off drugs or alcohol, you gotta admit that you got a problem for to solve the problem.
We could identify.
They've been defeated.
You could identify the issues.
We don't own anything. We don't run anything. Even if we think we own it, we don't. See, the Chinese man ain't got to go to no white man and ask for no permit to open shit. If he asks for it, he's.
Now, listen, Jason, I'm gonna have to mute you. I tried many times to cut you off and chime in, but nigga, you over talking me on my own show. They came to watch me, not you. You're the sidekick right now, nigga. Understand that. Chill, relax a little bit. Let me get my bars off. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't like muting niggas, but it is what it is. No disrespect, Jason.
It's right, LT.
I had to do that, man.
It's all right, LT. Your show. I respect your show.
We're gonna get. I'm not gonna make you lose any of your points. I want to talk and combat some of these points, but let's finish the reaction off real quick, and then let's have the conversation, y'all.
They didn't want to support a black initiative. So then we learned in 2017, I want to say 16, that a Chinese corporation bought the St. Paul's College. I couldn't believe it. That
in the process of you doing it.
Yeah. I couldn't believe that black people let Chinese people buy a historically black college built by our ancestors coming out of slavery by Father Russell, who was friends to both Booker T. Washington and George Washington Carver. Chinese own it now. So once they bought the school, I said, okay, black folks are donating. We've always got a lot of donations. They're just low amounts. Quantity versus quality, right?
Yeah.
Quantity low. Or should I say the quality of the donation low, but the quantity vast.
Yes. Okay, get you.
So, a lot of 10s, 20s, 50s, 100s, but if you're trying to buy an institution, that ain't quite enough.
Right. Got you.
Right? So anyway, we said we're just going to get us a day school. So I used up all my frequent flyer miles flying all over America. I thought the school was going to be in Detroit because Detroit had a couple Catholic schools in great shape that we could afford. There was around the $300,000 mark. I said, we're going to end up in Detroit. Black city, I'm ready for Detroit. Roman Catholic Church wouldn't sell them to me. Then we had a school in Philly. Roman Catholic Church wouldn't sell it to me. Then we was going to lease a school in money earning Mount Vernon, New York. Clean Catholic school. White man said, I got to call Rome. I said, what? He said, I got to call Rome. I said, you got to call the Vatican. He said, yeah. I didn't know this. He said, half the Catholic schools in America are still managed directly from the Vatican.
That's crazy.
Did y'all hear that?
I didn't know that.
Guess what else he told me? That the Roman Catholic Church is the second largest owner of real estate on the planet Earth. White man told me this. So he called me back. Rome said, we can't give you the school.
Right.
I hope people understand. Hold on. I didn't pause that. I hope people understand the significance of that statement right there.
To lease the school in money earning Mount Vernon, New York. In other words, the school could have been open years ago. But we kept on getting sad.
Is that do you feel because you are a black man trying to purchase
because
that?
I'm Dr. Umar.
Yeah, and what he's trying to,
Remember something Napoleon Bonaparte said during the Haitian Revolution? When Napoleon said, we got to crush the Saint-Lô Overture on Jean-Jacques Dessalines, one of his subordinates said, Commander, why are you so interested in destroying the Haitians? Is it to prevent them from destroying our investment on the island? He said, nah. We must stop and crush the Haitian Revolution to forever prevent the march of blacks forward into the world. The Haitian Revolution wasn't about the Haitian Revolution. It was about white supremacy. They can't let me succeed because they don't know how far I will go. You see that? When white people see a fire, they put it out. You feel me? Who is this black man coming up here who can afford to pay this type? What black man is thinking about opening up a school for black boys independently? Now, you might do LeBron James, public school you just give some money to. You didn't buy, you didn't build it, you don't own it, you don't control it. Puffy, get you a charter school. Jalen Rose, get you a charter school. I'm not doing that. This is independent. We own it. Right? Then I went to Detroit, tried to buy public school.
This is what I was talking about when he was trying to go through the nuances of actually owning the school opposed to having it a name like you own it, but you don't actually have full control of the curriculum or what goes on in the school. Joshua Lawson says we need to stop preaching college as the only option. I think you're probably new to my channel. I do not promote or push college as an only option. I just made the observation that we are entirely too far removed from college or post-secondary. Education, post-secondary in specific, people like to use it as, oh, I got this degree, I have this, this is my qualifier for intelligence. It does not mean that. Not at all. But there is an importance in the qualifications that you're obtaining when you go into a specific field to pretty much empower yourself financially. So you go in with a specific goal, you get your degree, and now you're making and earning a lot more money, and we're not all in the same fields. We're not all doing construction, entertainment, hip-hop, we're not all just doing the same things. We need to diversify as black people. When I seen only 2 college graduates being black men, there was a whole bunch of black women graduating. A whole bunch. There was more brown, there's more Asian, there was more white. But to see only 2 black men, it's like we're doing something wrong. We're too far withdrawn from post-secondary. And if we're not keeping up in the numbers when it comes to GDP, Black men are second to the bottom. We're going to have to consider that we're doing something wrong when it comes to our lack of post-secondary education. Let's get back into this, y'all.
But they wouldn't show me none of the public schools in good shape. Chicago couldn't get none of the public schools in good shape. That's when I realized there must be a national thing out.
Right.
He don't get no school. You feel me? We had the money, and they still wouldn't sell them. So then finally, I come back from Benin, Togo, and Ghana, 2017. Remember the Great North American Eclipse, August 21st of 2017? Which is my birthday, Nat Turner Day, Haitian Revolution Day, George Jackson Revolution Day. I'm on LoopNet. I see the school in Wilmington, Delaware. So this school look brand new. I go to it.
Chronic introvert, your mentality is a defeated mentality. It's a mentality of inferiority. That's what I don't like, and that's what I'm going against. We know that they are running the system. You can't act like it's defeated and it's a foregone conclusion that you lost the fight. You're acting like you can't do nothing. We're acting like we have not seen nations empower themselves and come up. We're not going to ignore Indonesia. We're not going to ignore certain... Man, let's get back into this, man.
My way down to Nat Turner, came back from Nat Turner, went to Cuba to get my initiation. When I came back from Cuba, I finally got into the schools. I walked around. I said, you know what? These schools are modern. They in good shape.
He said, how was this dude a mod? Yo, Chronic Introvert has been around for a long time. I think Chronic Introvert came when I was doing like Fresh and Fit reactions. When I was doing the grift over there.
Did my research, found out these schools only 10 years old. 2 of them. They wanted $2 million.
Nah, I fucks with Chronic Introvert, man. We could have a difference of opinion and we can speak it out. But I'm going to need people to call in if we're going to have these long debates with the chat section. But let's get back into this, y'all. I'm sabotaging the call-ins as well.
We didn't have, we only had $500,000. But that was August and September of 17. We bought the school February of 19.
Oh, hell no, Chronic Introvert. A slave could never be equal in the land they were enslaved on. Oh, God damn it.
So for 18 months, I stayed on them.
Right.
Can we get the school? Can we buy the school? Can we get the school? Buy the school? And then one day I said, can y'all sell it to us? He responded, give us what you got. I said, oh, I talked him down from 2 mils to...
Right.
We got to school 2017. I'm happy, jumping for joy. Little did I know, the black contractors was not going to do us any justice.
Yeah.
Man. We got robbed. We got scammed, man, our own people.
Which is unfortunate, yeah.
Very unfortunate. Then one day, last September, I said, you know what? I'm going to have to use white folks. I waited 3 years to try to get my people. We got to school in 17. We got to school in...
Now, to me, y'all can believe this, but when I heard this, I'm like, come on, man.
Stop the cap.
It's a total fabrication.
To me, it sounded like he was scapegoating the black community to act like they were inept. They were incompetent and couldn't do the job, like he couldn't pay a black contractor. That's him being unaccountable for not raising the funds to facilitate the school being opened in time. That's my personal belief. From watching everything play out, that's what I believe. But let him continue.
19. I saw it in 17. We got it in 19. This is 2023.
Let me get some volume up in this.
So February of 19.
Hold on, y'all. I don't know how low this is for you, but this seemed like it dropped in volume. Let me get some volume up in this.
To 20 to 21 to 22 to 23. 4 years. February, March, April, May, June, July, August. It'll be 4.5 in August. I decided to call up a white man. HVAC. He had both units on the roof in 2 days. Crane truck and everything. We already bought the units. We had them custom made.
Right.
So they've been sitting for a year. Brand new. Sitting. Because all the black HVACs tell me they're going to come do it. Never did it. So I called a white man to do it. He gets the units up right before the festival. I start scratching my head like, damn. Waiting on brothers for 3. This white man did this in 2 days? So then I asked the white man, I said, you know any plumbers? He said, I got a plumber for you. Boom. You electrician? I got that. Boom. Security? Boom. Fire come? Boom, boom. Wednesday, I go to the school to get the final HVAC repairs done. HVAC is on. We got air. We got AC. You got to do some final stuff to get the inspection. Once that go through, we done. I got to call the city, find out what we got to do to get our certificate of occupancy because plumbing is repaired and inspected, HVAC repaired and inspected, fire security repaired and inspected, everything. The only thing left is HVAC. And of course, we got to close up the holes and paint and do the floor. It's superficial, beautify. But all the systems, once we done HVAC, we done.
Yeah.
The sad thing is, those white men did in 4 months, 3 months really, what black men couldn't help me do in 3 years. It's the self-hate. It's not giving up on our...
Why would you wait 3 years banking on black folks, looking around to get them to do your HVAC if you had all the money and everything prepared and you were waiting on these black folks? This is absolute cap. He said earlier that a lot of black folks will sell you black inferiority, like white folks are superior and they do everything better and they'll just lead you astray. He said that was cooning. And now he's saying that black folks don't do nothing right, and then for 3 years you couldn't hire black folks to do it. I'm not buying that. Why would you wait 3 years? You need that school done expeditiously. You were fighting for however long you were talking about. He outlined how long he was fighting for that school, how they wouldn't sell it to him. But now he was saying, I'm not buying that. See, this is a mixed bag from Umar. It's generally a mixed bag from Umar. Sometimes he's spitting some facts, and other times you just see that it's just cap and he's just being unaccountable for his failures in this.
People, though, because when we go across the street to the Frederick Douglass High School, which is 4 times bigger, I still want to find some black contractors. I'm never giving up on my people.
Yeah, that's what
but I also have to face reality.
Right.
And the reality of the fact is we are so psychologically damaged that most of us find it almost impossible to do right by another black person. And these white folks, they don't even like me. Do you feel me?
Right.
They don't even like me.
But the money
But
talk.
they did the job.
Yeah.
They did it right.
Yeah.
It hurt. I'm like, damn. They just did it with no problem. Just came in, knocked it out, cheaper price and everything. If I would have just went with whites from the beginning, the school would have been done. But I couldn't do that because that's against what I stand for. So I had to try to use our people.
So with this...
Now, I know y'all are from various different places. In Toronto, and that's why I spoke about in the black men not really being in post-secondary so much, and we need to diversify a little bit. In Toronto, there's a lot of black contractors. There's a lot of black companies, construction companies, plumbers, all of that. So I don't know how it is in Wilmington, Delaware, but I don't know,
being
man.
An independent school.
Wait, Delaware has one of the highest populations of blacks. Man, that sounds like cap.
Does that mean you can implement your own curriculums?
Absolutely.
Like, so what kind of curriculums are you plan on teaching at the school?
Well, you got to have math, science, language, and social studies. That's required.
Right.
And then on top of that, we're going to have agricultural and agronomical science, dietary, nutritional science. We're about to buy some farmland right now. We're also going to have political and military science. We will be teaching African martial arts, weapons training too. There will also be spiritual and astrological science. I practice Yoruba spirituality. We will teach it. The school will be a bona fide independent parochial academy. We must have a religious instruction there, spiritual instruction. There will also be dietary, nutritional, agricultural, agronomical, spiritual, and astrological, military and political, science of the black man, woman, and child.
Right.
So we're going to teach the boys how to be men, how to be gentlemen, also how to be men, how to be fathers, how to be leaders in the community. And then financial and economics, investing, real estate, stocks, all of that. We're going to have guest speakers every month for the boys from different industries. They're going to work on their own business plan. And when they graduate from the school, we're going to give them their grant for their first business.
That's dope, yeah.
We're
definitely get for that. Will there be? I noticed in China, they are actually teaching their boys. They have masculinity classes in a sense, right? Do you think there is a need to kind of have a masculinity course for our young black boys?
I don't know exactly what their masculinity course entails,
right?
But our science of the black man, woman, and child will likely cover that.
Okay, that's fair.
Because we believe in the divinity of the black man and the divinity of the black woman. So that's part of it.
Sure, we might need some classes for some grown adult men to be taught how to be a man.
I agree with that.
College,
I don't know if it's college or maybe some
grad school, something. I don't know.
Shit. We need some help.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was muted. God damn it. All right, so what I was saying was PayPal's hot right now. So y'all hit the PayPal, support the PayPal. Because all Super Chats, all PayPals, all Cash Apps get reinvested back into the business. We ain't selling y'all courses out here with the Super Chat money. We ain't soliciting Super Chats and PayPals to sell y'all fugazi-ass courses. It's strictly for the platform to improve the show. Because this is what we do out here. So, Jay Gray says, Cap. Is that in reference to me? What are we doing out here?
Silence, you fool.
We're going to have some stuff for the men, too, once we get the boys up and running. Because although FDMG is a school by day, it's a community university by night.
Wait, what happened?
It's an all-boys school?
It's going to be all boys for the first 3 to 5 years. Then it's going to become girls.
Okay.
Boys and girls.
Got you.
I'm volunteering us anytime you ever need us to meet, even like speak or do something that you may need, something that you may not have time for, or something you think that we can fit to help.
Okay.
We're definitely going to be a part of it. Just, send the kite out.
I'm looking forward to it, not just for the blessing it'll be to our children, but also to the community. Because
Definitely.
there's very few places that we have where we can meet unencumbered by other people's. I speak more than any other scholar in the world, black, right? I'm the most requested black scholar on the planet for 13 years straight. I can count on one hand the amount of places I've been in the world that we own. Most of the time, we in something owned by Arabs, white people. They flicking the lights on, cutting the lights off. Right. I got to get out. You feel me?
Definitely.
Like, damn, only place that we own is the black churches. But the black churches don't want you in there talking politics because they already in somebody's pocket downtown. You feel me? So the one place that has space and a microphone for us to organize and strategize, the black church don't want us in there to organize and strategize.
I want.
So with FDMG, we have enough space where we could do conferences and everything. And once we do the Frederick Douglass High School, which is across the street, once both schools are up, we are undisputedly the largest independent black school independent campus in the country, and the only independent black school with 2 buildings, 2 legitimate real schools, not no church, not no basement, not no home, real school. We're the only independent school in the country with 2 schools that's black, and we're the largest.
That's dope, man. Like, listen, before we get up out of here, because I understand.
Now, in relation to that, I have to see it to believe it when it comes to his schools, because he's been talking about his schools. He was talking about opening it for a while. We still have not seen the school, so I want to see the school. No hating, but it's been a long time, and he keeps announcing it, so I want to see that it's actually done. Nobody owes me an explanation. I'm just saying, for me to buy it, I kind of need to see it.
Busy man. I do want to ask you one question. It's a short question. I seen that you posted a female rapper by the name of Sukihana, right? She has some choice words for you and her song. You know what I mean? What would you say to our good sister about that?
Sister Sukihana. I never heard of the queen before a supporter of mine sent me the video. Where she said, I'm not going to use her word.
Yo, you said he showed his school on his channel, but this is the thing. He says he doesn't have a YouTube channel. He said that's somebody else operating the channel.
But where she said if I wanted to spend some private time with a man, it'll be Dr. Umar. Right? And then at the end of the video, which wasn't on my Instagram, but it's on my Facebook and TikTok, she says, if Dr. Umar met me, he would shoot his shot because he would see that I'm a beautiful black African conscious queen. I could use some guidance. I got a little bit of daddy issues. She was very humble.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah, indeed.
I didn't know she was from Wilmington, Delaware. That's where the school is, right?
Yeah.
I would be open to meeting with her, right? To see where her head is. Because first, it's always politics before Punani for me. So what can we do together to build the community? Now, obviously, her content isn't something I could endorse. But it seemed to me that if she's willing to follow my lead, that she might be ready to make a transition, right? From the raunchiness to the righteousness. And so maybe she'll take all her followers and bring them into a more conscious lifestyle. Maybe. I don't know. That would be a conversation that we would need to have, though. But if she decided to turn the corner and leave that content alone for something that is more conscious and more positive for our daughters and sons, I would work with her. And I think we could do a whole lot together, too. But she would have to turn that corner because I couldn't endorse the current message.
Listen, if anybody could do it, you could do it. Like, yeah, again, appreciate you for pulling up. Again, let them know where they can follow you at.
TikTok and Instagram and Twitter at Dr. Umar Johnson. Facebook, Dr. Umar Ifatunde. TikTok, Prince of Pan-Africanism with a K. What else is out there? I think that's it, right? Facebook.
Your YouTube, right?
I don't have a YouTube.
Okay. You don't have a YouTube?
All those are fake pages.
Those are, wow.
Umar, before you go to, you gotta hit us with the I beg your pardon. You gotta hear it. Come on. You gotta hear it.
I beg your pardon.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Yo, and if y'all enjoyed the conversation, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Join the membership, man. There's a lot of behind the...
Y'all can catch part 1 of that interview as well on their channel. But that is it for the reaction. Y'all hit the call-in link if y'all want to call in. Hold up. I'm having some weird technical shit going on this screen right quick. Hold on, folks. This is not good. Why can't I get the mouse over here? Oh, you're referring to Umar. Okay, hold on, y'all. I am going through some agony right now with this screen. Hold on, y'all. All right, folks. I'm gonna restart the stream. Not restart the stream, but I'm gonna continue the stream so we can take in the callers. Pause. And yeah, we had people on the call in, but I kind of fucked that up with the technical difficulties. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button if you already haven't. We are going to restart this or continue this. What the fuck am I talking about? We're gonna continue this and another stream. Let's get it, y'all. Yeah.
That's all, folks.